The first rule in grip sport is you tell everyone about grip sport.
Crushing, pinch grip, thick bar, wrists.
If the best guy in the world can't lift 100 pounds on it, I don't give a shit about it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Grip Show. We're going to do a yearly wrap-up, kind of just a year recap here, cover some highlights, get into some different categories. Last year, it was me, Jason Dingy, and Eric Rusain that did this episode. So this year, I got Zach Staniewicz and Jedd Johnson with me. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me there, Zach.
So, yep. And we're going to kind of cover, not necessarily go month by month, but we are going to get into kind of just some highlights of the competitions throughout the year, different moments, just stuff that pops up in our head, and then cover some of these categories for most improved lifter. And I say best athlete, just best performance. So that's just really like athlete of the year type thing. So just best athlete within competition, who traveled a lot, won big competitions, or just put on the best performances. Then rookie of the year, somebody that pretty much just started or made their debut this year in the sport, but had a big impact. We'll try to come up with those names just so everybody's aware. Zach and Jedd have their picks as well, but none of us know each other's picks. So when we get to that section, we'll find out in real time and see if any of our answers, if we agree on any or if they match up. So I guess we could just start off with maybe like January and February. And I just wrote down, World's Strongest Grip in LA. That's kind of what started the year off with a, pretty good competition. Really, that was a 100-kilo showdown between Tanner Merkel, Eric Rusain, Andy Muncie. There's some other great 100-kilo lifters, but those were like, your podium for that one. And then Alexei Tukalov was in that competition, I believe, but I think he kind of was lifting against himself. Nobody was really, competing with Alexei. But that was the first bigger competition of the year. Then February, we kind of got into a worldwide grip battle. So had, several people total elite. Feather Crush women's competition up in Canada, Hobart Hoist in Australia, ran by Isaac Pitt. So that's just kind of like January and February. We already got 4 or 5 competitions that jumped off pretty early. Is there anything you guys would like to mention from those?
Well, I know the one in California, just like a note, like that was Tanner's debut back, right, off his layoff. Is that right?
He did one arm lifting competition, I think, in Texas prior to it. But yeah, that was kind of like his first traveling and kind of competing against, people outside of Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, for me that was pretty exciting to see because, well, I never met him, but he's got a pretty good reputation, and for him to show up like that, probably with not a whole lot of training prior to it, and he ended up winning it, right?
Yeah, he won that one.
I mean, that was pretty impressive. That's what stood out to me. He probably just like, sure. You guys did a recap, but it didn't sound like he was like training for 8 months for this event.
No,
he kind of
probably not.
Last minute with Will, and said, I'll come out there. Anyway, that's what stood out to me. Like the dude's unbelievable. So.
Yeah, I think. Keep going, Jedd. Yeah.
So I created the elite total, like, I don't know, over a decade ago, and I just kind of brought it back up in last February's contest, and it's really been popular. And you did some really good work with some artwork afterwards, like for everybody that totaled elite, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been cool, and it's kind of continued to carry on. People are looking to train the Euro, buy the Euro pinch, and work towards that qualification. So to me, that's a good development for grip sport right there, is going back to kind of the roots of reaching that qualification.
Yeah, and no, that's a good point. Now, for anybody that doesn't remember, a few years back, I think it was in 2022, when you did Worldwide Grip Battle, it was kind of amongst the multi-venue promoters,
Yeah.
and everybody kind of submitted events, and then you pulled like the events from a hat.
Yeah,
And
random.
it was random. So the idea was that none of the promoters would really know what the events were too early. I mean, everybody needed to have the stuff, that was selected, to run the competition, but it wasn't like it was mapped out 6 months ahead of time and everybody knew it. It was kind of, you just got to train and hope that whatever you're doing has carryover or the best carryover to an event that you don't know the events for. With that kind of being just a mystery draw for events, and then now kind of shifting to where like you're kind of doing the original big three, we'll say, with the grippers, Euro, and Axle.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, I know the Chasing Elite has kind of become. It seems like it's kind of been brought back a little bit, like you mentioned. Do you think that's a better format? Are you happy that it kind of went that direction as opposed to trying to like continue the random drawing and all that stuff for it? I mean,
Well, and just in my case, I know it was a pain in the ass for me to get the 3 inch
trilobite.
trilobite because
Yeah.
I didn't have any trilobites, and then
Mhm.
I was able to get one. I was able to get one from somebody, and then I think I even ended up sending one like overseas to like Ardo or something. Like it was not easy. So
Yeah.
I didn't like how that went in that regard.
Well, and if you and Ardo don't have a handle, then it's probably
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's definitely gonna be tough for other people as well because I mean you have some of the biggest grip collections there are,
yeah.
especially for these specific handles and everything.
Definitely this way it's even if you don't have the Iron Mind axle, there's other axles to train on that are very close. Even if you don't have
Mhm.
a Euro, there's other implements that you can train on that are very close. So
Mhm.
really all you need to do is get to a venue with all the equipment. So
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
I don't okay, yeah, keep one
I
Zach.
was
My bad.
just gonna piggyback. I mean, I think the those three events are great. Well, I like the history side. I mean, it's been contested, Jed, for I mean, those three together, elite. Would you say 20 years?
I mean, no. I came up with
Probably
it
not
in like
quite, but yeah.
2011 or something like that.
Okay.
Around there, around
Yeah, yeah,
2010. But it was because um there were only like 10 contests a year, if that, and like the same three people were winning every contest. Because at that time I was able to go just about anywhere to lift. It was like me, Chad Woodall, and Paul Knight were winning every single contest in the United States. So I wanted to try to develop a way to get those people out of the open group and have them in their own category. And that's when I was like, okay, the main three lifts are the max gripper, the axle, and then the Euro. So that's really where that came from, and it was a way to separate those people. And at the beginning, there were like five elite lifters, like
yeah.
those three, and then Aaron Corcoran.
Probably Derniat and Adam.
Yeah, and probably those two. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet.
So it might have been even as far back as like '08 when I came up with it.
Very
That's a
cool.
long. I mean, yeah, we're talking over 15 years, Jed. I mean, that's still it ain't too far from 20,
Yeah.
20 years at this point. Um, and then I guess if I kind of just move down the calendar, March, obviously there's the Arnold. It's always big. I brought up the Rolling Hills 3 grip competition out in Colorado, just because, I mean, anytime you see a repeated competition, it's the second or third year it's been hosted. I think that's kind of an important thing to just bring up. But yeah, March had the Arnold, Rolling Hills 3, and then April gets into like Maryland's Strongest Hands, Spring Clinch up in Canada, Canadian Nationals, and we start to kind of get into that middle portion of the calendar a little bit. Zach, you were at the Arnold. You competed, I think, in the 110 kilo class. Um, is there anything from that competition that stood out to you when you were watching everything, or any big moments,
Yeah,
or any
yeah.
lifts?
Oh, yeah. No, that's good. Marcus Manick, he's
Yeah,
a savage.
he's a freak.
I mean, I didn't know who he was. He came in, and I mean, there's not an ounce of fat on the dude. I don't know all his numbers. Obviously, he won his weight class. He stood out. I'm probably gonna chop his name up from Sweden. Abram, the climber.
Emil, his first name's
Emil, there
Emil,
you
right?
go.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Emil. I mean, on the Saxon bar, I mean, he just kept going. You got these big dudes that are, pretty respectable, and
Oh,
they're
for sure.
dropping out, and he's pressing on. Um, and then I'm trying to think other highlights. Henry Mullet
Henry lifted real good. Yeah.
on the Saxon bar. I mean, he was up there at the end. I thought he was gonna surpass the world record. He
He
did
pretty
not.
much pulled it to the top. It just popped out. But yeah, it was right there. So that was an exciting moment. Yeah, him and Carl going back and forth on Saxon. One of the better
That
moments for that competition for sure.
that was pretty exciting. Just to be there live watching that. That was pretty exciting. Um, yeah, some other highlights. I mean, local girl, Sierra Powell ended up winning the women's
Open, right?
open on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yep.
I did not attend that. Obviously, I'm a little biased because they're in my area or whatever, and
Well, but
I
you're just
know.
speaking on what you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
or whatever. That's no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing I just would preface with, like, I don't travel that much with grip, and if I don't mention you, it's not that I don't think you're a good lifter. It's just I'm a little limited. Anyway, what Sierra, I think that's pretty cool. Winning the Open, definitely very mentionable. And then having because Nate won it the year prior, which is kind of cool. Her husband, pretty
Hmm.
unique. Doesn't happen all the time. I think that's very mentionable. Um, yeah, those are some of the highlights I'd say for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with those. Uh, Devin Lee Brown lifted really well. I only bring that up because he like made a lot of adjustments too. Like you could just see it, and I don't know, maybe other people don't notice it, but like I analyze stuff in depth like all the time, like pretty crazy. And every like stance and grip that Devin Lee took was different than in the past. And competing against him, I know that because I've lifted against him numerous times. So I'm like watching how he does stuff. I mean, he brought his grip in like closer on sacks. You could just see if you're a lifter and you understand training, he changed a lot and the numbers shot up, and you could really see that like, okay, he's actually like trying and training and putting forth an effort now instead of just kind of showing up for fun and kind of just whatever. So that was something I noticed because him and Eric had a good little thing where I think Devin Lee set the 90 kg axle record for Rogue axle, and then Eric broke the 90 kg Saxon record because he cut weight. But I think that Eric kind of thought that maybe maybe he would cut in. I don't know if he thought that he would have a better chance of beating Devin Lee, but or maybe he wanted the bigger challenge. I don't know, but I think Eric was anticipating like Yvonne and certain people at 100 kg to maybe be a little more, I don't know, just a little bit of a higher level, kind of where the like they did in the past, and then ended up showing up on like Devin Lee's like resurgence or like new like second, third breakthrough almost, and yeah, they had a good little battle. So I remember watching those guys lift. That was pretty cool. Um, Other than that, yeah, the Arnold, I don't like I said, we got like 100 other competitions here. I'm just going to kind of rattle through, but and then I would bring up Maryland's Strongest Hands. Uh, John Felber's been hosting that competition for a long time. Jed, I know you've been there before.
Mhm.
I think that I don't know if it was Maryland's Strongest Hands, but I think one of John Felber's competitions might have been one of the first ones Sarah Chapello attended, like back when she was closer to that. So like John's been hosting a lot of stuff, but I bring up this year's Maryland Strongest Hands. Sal Sabatino won it, and I think that was the first time that we really got to see Sal lift this year, or kind of got him, the name circulating and stuff. Because there's some people at that competition that said, "Hey, man, this guy Sal, he hit these numbers and this and that," and that's when I first heard the name. So, and that'll come into play later because Sal competed a lot this year. Canadian Nationals. I want to say Tremaine Desmarteau. I believe he won Canadian Nationals this year. Um, Trying to remember some of the other stuff. Like I said, if I don't have all this written out, it's tough to remember, and I'm kind of just glancing over it. Um, Jed, do you remember anything from Canadian Nationals or
I
not?
don't.
Okay, yeah, no big deal. I just want to make sure you didn't have anything to add there. May we had Nationals here in Ohio for U.S. Nationals, which Jed you were at.
Mhm.
Any takeaways from that competition?
what an amazing basement to have competitions in. I mean, that was phenomenal. That's probably the biggest basement I was ever in. And I mean, there was so much room, so much room. I mean, that's the kind of thing like give me a nice small atmosphere where I can be comfortable and there's a place to sit down or I can stand up and I can use the bathroom and I can go over here and I can be by myself and there's a platform and it's all in someone's house out of the elements. You know what I mean? You're not in a cobweb covered barn or anything. And there's not 6 million people running around bumping into you. Can I get a picture? Can you sign my shirt? You know, stuff like that. So, per just about a perfect location for me.
No, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was kind of glad that Jason put in for that, and Jason and Mike, and then obviously Melissa and Sarah as well ran ran an awesome event. I think I kind of I helped a little bit by assembling the backdrop or staring at it for about 30 minutes and then not putting it together. And then expert fabricator Luke Raymond had to step in and start piecing things together and show us how to build something. But yeah, that was my contribution. Was I brought a backdrop
Mullins,
out and I stared at the
Mull-
legs and couldn't put it together.
Mullins picked up the same pipe 18 times in a row and dropped it. And it would, you know, like you drop the pipe and it goes da 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 da, like that and it's weird noise. And finally, after 18 times, Luke's like, "You need some help with that, pal?" And he went up there and like actually started putting it together. But like, and the whole
It took him
time,
about 5 minutes.
yeah, yeah, it was comical.
Anyway, but yeah, but I think it was a good turnout though for that one, Jed. Because I mean, we had
Was it
oh man,
22 or something?
yeah, a decent number of lifters in general. But I mean, Derek Hudson came out from Washington, Sarah and W from Colorado, Devin Lee Brown from Florida. I'm trying to think. I mean, Pennsylvania, like Andrew Kiro, some of the people from the East. I'm just trying to think of other regions, but like it was a pretty good representation of some of the top lifters there. And if I forgot anybody, my bad. But yeah, there was a lot of out of state participation for that. So and yeah, I think that competition went pretty well. Trying to think. I do know one thing with the silver bullet thing. Australia still had it because their nationals was like the day after in June, which was another pretty good. I'm trying to think who. I'm pretty sure Henry Mullet won the Australian nationals, and then might have been Isaac. Isaac Pitt might have been like runner up for the Australian nationals, and then maybe Joe Hodson in third, or maybe that was a different competition later in the year that Joe did, and maybe someone like Will. I think Will Fugel or Fugel, however you say his name. I think he was second or third for that one. But yeah, and Australia had their nationals with a good turnout as well, and the U.S. and Australia basically were holding the nationals about the same day. Um, and Jed, you might be able to touch on this too. I'm not as familiar with some of these competitions, but I did want to highlight that in Chile, down in South America, Sergio Aguayo has been hosting a lot of competitions as well. So
Mhm.
there's been, a little bit of a pickup down there, at least with some of the, people that have been doing those competitions in, South America. So that's something we don't really talk about. A lot of times it's kind of US, UK, Europe, you get your Finland and Sweden type stuff, and then um, Australia, but there's kind of like a big gap. We don't really hear like grip sport in Africa or Asia as much or South America, but now it's, I know Pancho's done some stuff, and then Sergio's been hosting some stuff down there and seems to be, I don't know, like it seems to be consistent to where it's going to continue and probably maybe turn into something down there a little bit bigger too. So I don't have all
Yeah,
the
and
info on comps, but
I've
wanted to at least highlight that as a promoter.
I've been talking to him a little bit lately. Like he has experience with like research and stuff.
Yeah.
I think he might have said he's got a degree in it or something. And he wanted to go into, yeah, he has a master's degree in sports science, So we were talking about some stuff that he wanted to like look into to try to get a better handle on statistical data about hand size and performance and stuff like that. So might be something that comes out of it down the line. Nothing right away, but he's really into it. And I don't I don't know how big Chile is. I think it isn't it the one that's a coastal country and it's really, really long.
Yeah.
So there's really three like pretty engaged dudes down there with Sergio, Pancho, and then Bruno. Bruno's
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We could it's it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. If
No,
they
I definitely agree. Yeah.
if they could, somehow take hold in the Latino Hispanic market and information gets passed outward through South America, it could really become something special, and we could end up with like an intercontinental champion in grip between North and South America.
No, I think that'd be awesome. And yeah, it would be interesting if they. And I also don't know if those guys talk to each other very often, or if they
Yeah,
how familiar they are. But yeah, I mean, if they maybe joined forces or kind of divided some of the stuff up between them, they might be able to kind of team up on some stuff and I
yeah,
don't know, maybe have a bigger reach or make stuff
that would
work. But
be.
yeah, we'll
Yeah,
kind of just keep an eye on it. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because it's something that I don't think was really established in the past, and it looks like it might be kind of taking hold now.
yeah,
Um, and then if we get into July, Zach, you'll know a little bit about this. The Greenville Grab was in July. That was the second year you guys did that one. W did his Dub's Grip Classic the same day, I believe, or same weekend in July there. So I think both those regionals were happening this year. Anything that you could point out from that? Because that was a big competition for you guys doing it a second year, and then
Yeah.
also the turnout was even. I mean, like I wasn't in the area. Then like Jake Fuller had moved, so a couple people moved out. But then you still had people like was Chris Tracy at this one,
Yeah, Chris,
right?
that was Chris's first experience at that Greenville grab with
But I know
us.
he's super strong. Like Hunter Heath put up some good numbers. So you guys had like a probably it's tough to say on the top end because like Jake Fuller was a monster the year before. So like top end is, whatever. But as far as like the two, three, four, five, six, like the quality of everything had more depth to it, I think. I think the
Oh
lifters were
yeah.
stronger the second year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because everyone had more training. Like I've been hosting team practice every month, since that first grab. And so, you know, Palmer's coming out. You know what I mean? This is every month. Jake Jack Palmer, Matt's coming out, Andrew Brogdon, Hunter's coming out. All these guys, you know what I mean? So you build a community of people. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing that's helped the area is just having some stability with that. You know what I mean?
Do you have anybody, Zach, just curious, do you have
Yeah.
anybody that's because I know you're pulling from South Carolina and North Carolina with a lot of
Yep.
those names.
Yep.
Isn't one of those people from Tennessee? I mean, do they make
Yep.
it, or was that just there's Tennessee? Do you have anybody from Georgia? I'm just curious because I feel like Georgia we don't really hear about, but I don't know why. Why not? You know what I mean? It's like right there on the east. It's kind of
I
in line
know.
with everything else. But
We had a guy from Georgia, from Atlanta. He's a climber. He pulled, I think he was like top three body weight to strength on that chart that Eric did for King Kong on the
okay, yeah,
he was probably 160. He pulled don't hang me here. He probably pulled 190 on the two and a quarter. Something absurd.
the
The guy
crusher.
from Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
That's
that's pretty
pretty
good.
good.
I mean, you get around 200 pounds, especially if the body weight's that low too. I mean, 200 pounds is a pretty good crusher. Or you're starting to get into
Yeah,
the
at that
bigger
light
lifts.
body weight. But no, we haven't had a lot of folks from Georgia, unfortunately. But yeah, well, time will tell. I mean, it's inevitable. You know what I mean? Like with the momentum that y'all have developed and worked on, it's gonna happen. So
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot about a Greenville grab three, but I'm sure you're probably planning it to
yeah, yeah,
some
we're
extent.
planning it.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, just like quick highlights on the on the Greenville grab because, like I said, that's something I can talk about confidently. Like, uh, the Sierra won the women's. She won the regional. Because it's a
Hmm.
regional, it's a GSI regional, so she won the regional for the women's class. I ended up winning the region for the men's class, but I mean Nate Powell, me and him were neck to neck. It was a battle. Uh, it was maybe like 10 points between him and I. Like it was close,
It also depends on the scoring method too. Some people might hear 10 points and think, "Oh man, that's way off," but
Yeah,
it
it was like five,
yeah.
10 points. It was like neck and neck the whole day. And what else? And then Jack Palmer won his, we had three men's weight classes. He won the
Mhm.
middleweight class and he's just getting better. I mean, he pulled 390, 95, 390, 395 on the 2 inch. It's a 2 inch, not a 1/9. You know how everyone says, "Oh, it's a 2 inch."
Yeah.
It's a 2 inch axle, and
He's a lighter weight guy, right?
he's probably 200 pounds,
Okay.
205. I
Yeah.
mean, that's pretty
400 pound. I had
impressive.
almost double body weight axle. I mean,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty good. And then Matt McCall ended up winning the lightweight men's division, and same thing. He's another special guy. He pulled me aside after. He's like, "Hey, man, we're just catching up." I mean, he didn't train.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's not that he didn't want to. He's just been so darn busy. But I mean, he's something special in the area. And
Does he? This is a bonus question for Matt.
yeah,
Does he still have the inch dumbbell I sold him?
yeah, oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He still got it. He loves it, man. He's uh, and then yeah. So those are some of the highlights, man. The Farmers Walk was my favorite event. Because it was like. It was hard. You know what I mean? Like if you're just doing a single lift, right? You lift it, you do or you don't. But with a farmer's walk, the ladder format, whatever you want to call it, medley, it was a lot of heart because guys would drop it, but it was a timed event, so they would have to like build up the tenacity to push on and continue on. So that was for me. That was a pretty cool highlight, and I think I wasn't the only one that felt that way. So watching that event, the Farmers Walk, 2 minutes with a succession of bells. That was a pretty cool highlight at that event. So um, anyway,
No, dude, that's a good one.
I don't
And
want
then
to I don't want
also,
to hog the time.
no, dude, you're good. That also is going to kind of bring us into August, where
Yep.
Jed, we went up and did an inch farmers walk in Minnesota. But I was going to kind of bring that up. That sort of we also saw that. I don't say the full thing make a comeback, but there's a couple competitions with inch farmers walks and things like that. We're talking about the chasing elite, the elite total, kind of an older format or something that kind of maybe died down a bit, kind of getting revived. But then we also saw a lot of I don't want to say we saw a lot more medleys like necessarily, but we kind of saw more of those like inch dumbbell farmer walks or like blobs being implemented in competition again. I feel like there's more of that this year than some of these last couple years. Um, but like I said, it'd be tough for me to skim across multiple years. If I just kind of go down with August, Eastern Ohio Grip Challenge, which I know Jason Dingy won. I came in second, Cliff Keener in third for that one. That was August. Then the Capital City Challenge in Canberra, Australia. That might be the one where I was mistaken between which podium Joe was on for nationals, or I think it was the Capital competition that Joe was on, and I think maybe Will Fuggle was on the other one. Um, but they're both just strong guys with climbing backgrounds. Then Jed, we did get a grip with at Jeff Peterson's competition in Minnesota, which Eric Rusain won. And then Ronnie Bossy held Stronghold 4 up in Maine in the same month. So, I mean, there you have competitions, Ohio, Australia, Minnesota, Maine, all within the same month right there. So that's pretty action packed, really, for the schedule. Anything there stand out, Jed, to you? I know that maybe you could talk about the Minnesota competition or
Oh, and the frequency of contests coming up in August is why I put a section in at the beginning of the newsletter. It was like other contests coming up because I didn't want shit to get missed because of so many things
Yeah.
going on at the same time. So I actually brought the section up into the top, so it was like in the very top of the newsletter.
Yeah.
Um, the thing that impressed me most about that contest is your ability to drive and never get tired, and then intersperse the driving with a competition. I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it.
Well, it's one of my worst performances, not blaming the driving, but I didn't do. I guess it wasn't bad. Me, you, and Eric were tied after the first two events, which I don't think any of us thought was going to happen. And then I just fell apart, and then you guys went on into the extra innings there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I tried to hang tough for a bit, but didn't work out.
Hey, can I interject one
Yeah.
thing? I didn't attend, but I had my eyes on it because it was anyway, it's a badass event. But didn't he do left hand and right hand combined grippers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
He did.
cool.
It was real cool. And
I
even though
think that's
even though I'm not a
awesome.
big fan of. Okay, keep on. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of grippers. Yeah. But I mean, I think that's pretty cool because there's some dudes that are like, you know how we talk about an overall guy that's balanced or whatever. There's some
Mhm.
dudes that have huge discrepancies between right hand and left hand. I don't know if you guys agree.
No,
I've
absolutely.
noticed
I
I
that.
mean,
know I
if
do
you,
because my left hand can't do shit.
Yeah.
But
You're
yeah.
over here in the crippled department.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, which hurts you, but I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. Something that stood out to me that's unique, but I think it would be cool to see in the future. I guess logistically, the timing aspect, it would just take a little more time. But I like that. I like that whole idea. That
Just so
was
no, it
you
was
pretty
know,
really
cool.
good.
that was a part of either Nationals or North Americans, whatever contest that was held that year for several years in a row, doing both hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
A
Jed,
lot
with
of people
that,
wouldn't know that just because it's kind of lost. It's lost to history, but it used to be very common.
yeah, like I said, I think this year was kind of not a full year of bringing back a bunch of old stuff, but it does seem like a lot of things that were maybe used in the past did kind of pop up in competitions more this year, and we saw a little bit more of it. And of course, Jeff's one of those guys that was doing the sport. You know, he had an intro back then, Jed. I mean, early on. So I mean,
Yeah, he was doing it before I was.
yeah. So it's good to have Jeff back, and we'll probably make a mention here to the North Americans later. You know, as far as just different stuff going to the new year. Last thing I'll bring up about August, Jed, was with that Minnesota competition being all the way back in August, and we're about to be in 2026 soon. We're at the end of December here. And Zach mentioning the gripper thing. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of grippers, but Jed, do you recall who won that event there?
It was some it was some dude that like nobody knew his name and no name guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Maybe Eric would know. He was there.
We'll have to ask Eric. Zach, do you know who won the grippers there? Oh, you don't? Huh.
The joke is Zach won the grippers.
Okay, we're
Well,
good. We can move on
good.
now.
Good.
I forgot. You know, you do so many competitions, sometimes you forget what happens, and I don't know. I mean, I was in awe watching Jed and Eric, battle it out. That I guess I just forgot what I was closing at the same time, and
Yeah.
I'm messing with you. Okay, let's get to September. So September, Feet Meet 2 by Alex Gia. Whole competition full of feats from lifting on hubs to anvils and blob and inch combo, Euro, mash monster grippers, reverse steel bending. I think I hit about everything right there, but just me saying that sounds like a lot. And then to do the competition was a lot of fun. And me and Jed both attended that one as well. Um,
I drove that time. I drove
yes,
that time.
yes, much shorter distance. No,
Yeah.
but
Well, he had to drive to my house, but I drove it back and forth. Yeah.
I'm messing around. But yeah, and then Canada did their maritime regionals. Sebastian Pacey Smith did that. Solid lifter in Canada. He's been pretty competitive this year and doing a lot of really big lifts, particularly within the weight class. Central Canada did their competition, which I believe Corinne Lalonde and Eric Roussain were the regional champs up there. Jed, anything from the Feet Meet Invitational because it was kind of a unique competition with a very unique kind of old school lineup as we're kind of talking about some of this old traditional stuff coming back.
Just for me, just first experience competing against Sal Sabatino. Very impressive lifter.
Yeah, he missed that bend by like that much, and this is somebody that like doesn't really bend,
Never
and he
bent.
was
Yeah.
bending like crazy. Yeah, no, Sal is a monster, and this is not to knock Alex's Euro. I did not have a good time on it. I don't know if the reverse bending screwed me over on the Euro or something was different, or I don't know what happened, but I was terrible on the Euro that day. I didn't feel like the Euro was that good. It just didn't feel that good to me. But Sal still pulled up like 255 or something ridiculous. And that didn't even, I mean, Jed, you touched the Euro too there.
It was my Euro.
Oh,
So
was it? Okay.
yeah.
It was,
I don't know. I always think like there's something weird about his platform, the mats, how it's kind of like a grid mat.
okay.
Not interlocking, but like I always feel like it's an inconsistent
Like not a flat surface, like there's an angle or
foundation.
something to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that always throws me off, but I mean, obviously it didn't bother Sal. So
No, he was, I didn't think any weights like that were going to get put up that day, but yeah, that was a good lift. And then, I liked the blob and inch dumbbell lift together. I mean, I'm probably a little biased on that one, but I just think it's a unique lift. It's not something you can really just, I don't know. It almost takes somebody like Alex to kind of put it together and care about it enough to make it work like it did. But if you were to try to do that every competition or do something similar with combo lifts, it'd probably be a headache for most promoters. But Alex has pulled that off a couple years now. So hats off to Alex for doing that. Um,
I let me interject there. I mean, I pull Alex aside, and this is just my
oh no,
opinion.
yes, I forgot. Yeah, we were all at that one. That's when we all
Yeah,
competed at. We
I
could have,
wasn't on the
yeah.
podium. I was over there weeping. But I told Alex, I mean, in my opinion, like it's just I think it's one of the best lineups of events in the year. In my opinion. It's not
Oh,
easy to do,
no,
in
yeah,
terms of the historical side of it with the steel bending and then the Mash Monster ladder and the inch and then he had all the damn anvils. Like it's not easy to put together, but on the historical side, to me it was the best. It was one of the best events of the year. Uh in my opinion. Um and then the scenery. I mean, he had a darn lake in the
beautiful.
back. He got his pizza. I mean, he ordered pizza. It was very special. It was a very cool event. I got to meet a lot of really really strong dudes that I have talked to online. I just haven't met in person. So, yeah, hats off to Alex for putting that together and it was well rounded. You know what I mean? I feel like there's no holes. Like Jed, you won it. I mean, you're the strongest dude that day. And yeah, it was very well rounded. And yeah, and Sal, just kind of piggyback. Sal was there. Homeboy ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
yeah.
my 2 cents.
No,
Very very cool event. Very balanced.
yeah, no, that was a fun competition for me too. Um, just because, yeah, you're not going to get to do. It's rare to find any of those events in a single competition, let alone get all those events in one day with that group of people. So, yeah, definitely a special event, and look forward to Alex doing that next year. Well, I'll kind of just summarize the end of the year. Obviously, there's King Kong. Uh, Olympia is a big one that people will do in Vegas. Northeast regionals and Pacific regionals, and then Napalm Nightmare kind of finish the year. Anything from kind of October, December, that couple month period there to finish the year up to date. Anything that you guys have that stands out?
Ross Boyle. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, I've never met the guy, but just following him online, I mean, he won, I think, the Olympia, I believe.
His weight, yeah.
He
Yeah,
won his weight class.
I don't know that his numbers would have beat Alexi,
Okay.
but for the super heavies, yeah, he took gold and Alexi won the class below. But I forget who was behind. Oh man, I forget who was behind Ross. Like who was second place to Ross. But I think Sal was right behind, not right behind, but like Alexi and Sal were in a class below, and I think Ross
Yep.
and I'm blanking on somebody else's name right now, but they took second.
He's a beast.
Yeah,
And then Marcus Manick, they contested the 2-inch Saxon.
yeah, he did like 300 pounds. Yeah.
That's pretty memorable. I mean,
No,
that's
yeah. Well, Marcus also placed really well at that Immortal Grip Wars in Sweden too,
yeah.
which also had 2 inch sacks, and so yeah, he's
He's a
he's a
maniac.
freak. I mean, yeah,
Marcus the maniac over
yeah, we
here.
should change his name.
I don't know. I don't know if you appreciate that. The maniac. He's anyway. And he's very, obviously he's not American, but yeah, real nice guy.
I'm trying to think,
Just
is he
real
from
brief.
Estonia? He might be from
Yep.
Estonia or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's yeah, he's pretty committed to the sport from what I can tell. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of him. But yeah, he's turned some heads in my eye. Plus he's in my weight class. So obviously it's a little,
You gonna cut weight,
you
or
know a
you
little
just
bit
gonna
more about
bulk?
people in your weight class than other weight.
I got you. You gonna cut weight and get out of there, or are you gonna
No,
just
I
keep
just,
packing on some
I'm
muscle
gonna
and go
just,
at him?
I'm just gonna roll in how I roll in.
Okay. Then, well, you mentioned Ross. Ross also won King Kong. Um,
Yep.
and trying to think, King Kong. What else? Sarah won like her fourth or fifth King Kong. I don't know if it's in a row, but that was something else. Jed, you won the Northeastern Regionals with Joanna Hall taking the women's. Pacific Regionals, Elijah Persons took the men's division, and Ebony Perez the women's division for that. Napalm Nightmare, I just covered recently on the show. Thomas Larson took that. He beat you by like a half point, Jed, or something ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Like real
Yeah.
close, like about as close as you could get in a competition, especially
Yeah.
multi-venue. I mean, you
Mhm.
don't even get competitions that close half the time when you're in person. Somebody misses something or makes a different jump, and
Yeah.
to not even be lifting in like the same country and then still come that close is pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, the 2x5, I have had the world record in, and I was like 30 or 20 pounds behind what I've done before. So I was definitely off that day, but
Mhm.
it's my own fault. I didn't train that with. So I just, I'm sure I could have found a way to work it in, and I didn't take the time. So it's my own fault. So, um, I just took it for granted, really. And Thomas showed up, and I think he said that there were even a couple lifts that he came close on to getting, and um, if he would have hit those, then it might have just evened everything out back out again. So
Yeah. And guys, that kind of covers most of the competitions. We can kind of get into some other, I don't want to say fun stuff, but yeah, to me, I think Jed, you would have a better idea, but for the amount of competitions, the amount of lifters, um, it's the big topic in the sport is, oh, it's an underground sport, but trying to get it, to grow or get more exposure for it. How do you feel with that kind of calendar year for GSI and like the amount of competitions we just sort of named? And I'm leaving some out too. So if anybody hosted or competed at something and we didn't bring it up, there's literally so many competitions I can't bring them all up. Like that's how, packed the calendar's gotten. So um
I want to say there were like 38 competitions this year or something. There were so many competitions that I actually like printed out a list of all of them and did a breakdown on which events were the most common, most popular. And I tried to find it before this call, and I can't find it. So, but I have that information.
okay.
I would say it's the most. I think it's the most contests we've had in ever. I would say, um, it is interesting. There's definitely events that are held much more common compared to other ones, and it's like there's like a top 10 of events that are held at competitions more frequently. So I'll bring that information to light someday when I can find it. It's in a folder, but my organizational skills are not the best. So, but it was very exciting to see all these contests, and I hope it's even bigger again in 2026.
Yeah, no, well, I think last year for the yearly wrap up, like 2024, I think we kind of had a similar thing that we were saying in that episode. And then this year, I can tell you just from recapping a lot of these things, the number of lifters and the amount of competitions definitely increased a lot. Um, I didn't expect this year to really be as successful as it was. I didn't know, but man, it really did turn out pretty well. Um,
One thing
Yeah.
One thing I I can speak on in the Southeast, I think it was 2 weekends ago, Alex from Somerville, South Carolina, hosted the December Death Grip Challenge. Anyway, what happened there, Alex, was at the Greenville Grab. I mean, this is how it happens. You know what I mean? So when people are listening to this, it's not like it's so simple. It's just it starts with a conversation. He's from the Europe. So anyway, he's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a grip event down in the summer. I was like, dude, what do you need? You know what I mean? And it's just as simple as that conversation, and just giving the guy some time. So I gave him your contact information, Jed. I gave him Ricardo's information. I told him about sponsorship. It's just so what I'm saying, the moral of the story is just be encouraging with folks. You know what I mean? Like if you guys get somebody coming to your event and they live in an area that's not covered, just be like, hey man, just encourage them. You ever think about running an event? And then just give them the time of day. And I'm preaching to the choir with you guys. You guys pour into the sport all the time. But for the people that are watching, it's just simple as that. Just ask. You know what I mean? And it's not. I don't think it's that hard. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be this superstar, strobe lights and fireworks and pyrotechnics. You know, it could be simple as like three people. And you all have said it before, and I'm just reciting it. And that's how it's gonna grow. And the reason I'm mentioning this because it's fun. The bar is being raised every year. You know what I mean? The numbers are being raised because there's more contests. So. That's all I can say on the promoter side is just if you have any interest, just ask somebody that you know, and I can almost guarantee you they'll help you out. So that's all.
So you're saying that it's possible to grow the sport in person through actual face-to-face interaction, and there's a way to grow the sport beyond just posting and sharing and clicking stuff online in Fantasyland?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there's a world for both. Some people don't like traveling, and y'all travel way more than me. But yeah, I don't know. That's just this is my opinion. So anyone watching that has any interest, just reach out to any of us or any promoter that you know, and I guarantee you they'll help you out.
No, for sure, Zach. That's good advice.
So,
If we get into categories, we talked about this should probably bring up some good discussions. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we match up on some of these things. Um, so I have like a rookie of the year, just best like overall performance of the year, best athlete, whatever we want to call it, and then a most improved. Is there a category you guys would like to start with?
I have one that I'm pretty confident with. That maybe I'd like to maybe start like rookie of the year. I think that's a fun one.
Okay, yeah, well, let's start with rookie of the year then. So for me, that was somebody that pretty much debuted in 2025. I didn't bring anybody from 24. I tried to keep it just within the year if possible. But yeah, what do you guys at?
I mean, it's I
Don't
think
don't don't steal mine.
I'll probably
Do it.
will. And and here's the other thing, like when people say, "Oh, Staniewicz didn't mention me," like I'm not the best. I didn't travel as much, but for somebody that I've met and watched compete online or not,
Mhm.
from a distance, is Sal Sabatino. I mean,
Yeah,
right? Is his first year?
yeah. As far as I'm aware, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
far as I know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm there's some runner-ups. I got a runner-up, a local guy runner-up, not nationwide, but I'd like to mention. But for Sal, for what he's done, like Jake Fuller was at the Maryland Strongest Hands, and I was like,
Hmm.
damn. I said, Jake got beat out, and I was like, who the hell is this? And then and that was like my internal dialogue when I saw the results. I was like, uh-oh. So and then for what he did at the feet meet. I
Hmm.
mean, like you guys mentioned before, he's never steel bent. And then I forget what he bent, but I mean it was remarkable with no experience. So in my opinion, from my small little window, Sal for me is the guy.
That was mine. So I don't think you're far off the mark. That's what I picked. I picked Sal for that one for the men's.
Well, he was the first guy I thought of too, but I also have to point out that there's this guy up in New England, Todd Hustis, that
Hmm.
he I think he came in second place at regionals, and he had never done any of the events before. Like he didn't know, he had no idea what he was doing. He Vince Broderick invited him and he came. I don't think he'd ever touched any of the implements before, except for maybe a Saxon bar or something. Well, we didn't even do Saxon bar, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, and he came in like second. So uh you gotta think he's got some potential there.
Oh no, for sure. Because yeah, that well, another one I was going to mention, Jed, kind of just honorable, and I believe both of these are within the year. If the timeline's off on these, um, is coconut crab, Christer Hallert. Um, he won, I think, 93 kg or 105 kg class for King Kong, but just ridiculous lifts. Um, it took me a while to match the name with the coconut crab thing online. But I was like, oh, that's who that is. Then as soon as I realized it, I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think Pancho had him on his show. If anybody was interested to listen to him talk or something there on Grip Sport Latino, but that's one. And then Jed, also from the regionals where you were at, I believe it was Mustache Ninja's first year actually competing. I know he has done some grip stuff,
Yep.
but I believe it's Lucio Batista,
Lucio, yeah.
but he's ridiculously strong, and I think that's somebody that obviously has a lot of hand strength and training, but for the actual sport of grip sport,
Oh, he's
I
a
think
total phenom. I just didn't realize he it was a
I
rookie. I
I,
didn't I
I
didn't
think
realize
I,
that.
I want to say his first like actual competition, aside from maybe doing feats or challenges, because he did like some blob lifting and lifted like the York glob and some of that stuff. Um, but I want to say around the Shaw Classic was like the first time we saw him actually lift, and they were like, "Oh man, he broke some record in the weight class or something on the Raptor." And so yeah, no, I've just seen some of the training lifts, and then you mentioned how close the battle was with him and then Todd up there at the Northeastern. So I think those two are, if they're not choices, then they're pretty good honorable mentions. Do you guys want me to lead off with the women's rookie of the year for me?
I honestly don't have one for the women due to my lack of following it real closely this year and not knowing like who is in their first year. I don't even have one, so I
Okay.
leave this one to you guys.
Okay. For me, I would have to say Ebony Perez. She
I
won the
was going to say
Pacific.
that.
She won the Pacific competition for regionals. She also did a competition prior to that. It might have been that like Hands of Hercules thing or something. Um, but she broke some records. Like she broke some lifts that Sarah had done, and I want to say she broke maybe one of Amy Waddle's records on like a Napalm Nightmare or something. And she's, I believe, kind of more like on the lighter weight side too. Not like, I mean, for a women's lifter, not like oh, a 50 kilo. No, she's not like that. But it's not like she's a super heavyweight either. But the grip is just on another level. So even though she's only done a handful of competitions, maybe two or three, all the lifts have been pretty big. And she's probably got three competitions or so under her belt, and all the numbers comparatively speaking with some of the veteran women's lifters, this is probably one of the strongest women's lifters we've seen kind of just come out the gate that strong, is what
Cool.
I would say. Um, she
Very
didn't
nice.
compete as much, but I was going to give an honorable mention to Jaquise Robertson. She pulled like a 300-pound axle at the Arnold. I always reference that because that's the lift that stands out in my head. But that's, somewhat rare territory for women's lifters to hit a 300-pound double overhand axle. And Jaquise did that. I just think that there was some other stuff that she didn't compete as much this year, but if she had competed a little bit more, we might have got more data on other events and other handles that could have changed things up. But I had to still add her just for, kind of, at least in my eyes, kind of breaking on the scene this year. So, but yeah, Zach, do you have anything there to add?
Yeah, no, I was the female, she's out there and on the West Coast. I
Yeah.
remember watching the recap and yeah, she popped up and I don't know her personally, but yeah, she sounded like a well, yeah, she's a rookie. She won the region. she's doing something right. You know what I mean? So yeah, she was on the in the back of my head. I just didn't know her name, but yeah, she sounds like a superstar.
Most improved. You guys want to jump into that one? Men, women's, whatever.
Hmm.
This one's
That's
tough
tough.
because you got to kind of take somebody, and
Yep.
it could be a new person, it could be a veteran lifter that did something. It was really tough for me to pick a women's lifter on this side because I kind of had to skim through, a decent amount of stuff, and I kind of settled with what I thought would fit, but then at the same time in my head I'm like, is this really most improved? Because both the names I had down for the women's side, yes, I think they've improved, but they also were good from the beginning as well. So it's like, does it fit most improved or is it just consistent performances? But I put Emma Hunt from the UK
Okay.
and Heather McDowell, both typically like winning their King Kong weight classes. Heather McDowell did the women's Napalm Nightmare. She just won that. Emma Hunt was in UK. I believe she lifted with the Gods of Grip crew and those people for King Kong. Everybody there was strong. And just last few years, Emma Hunt and Heather McDowell put in a lot of good performances. But that's why I said I don't know if they just started off that good or I'd have to dig deeper into the numbers. But those were two names that popped up for me. Um, was yeah Heather McDowell and Emma Hunt. So most improved, I'd have to go between one of those two probably, and just been real consistent. So
Zach, I wouldn't even want to put a name in because, like you said, you have to have this. You're locked in. You're talking to the people. I wouldn't want to say anything. Um, I don't have anyone. Is what
oh,
I'm
you're
saying.
good. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's just if you got something
yeah.
good. If not, yeah, no big deal.
Well, I my mind immediately went to Corinne Lalonde
Mhm,
because I've seen some of the things that she's done with not just the sporting implements but also the feet implements,
mhm.
and she's like actively trying to develop her skills with blobs, hubs, things along those lines. And I see that as something that's going to be a major asset for her going down the line. So that's why I pointed to her on the most improved for the women.
No, yeah, that's definitely a good choice too. And she also won the regionals up there for Central Canada. Mentioned that I think earlier in the show, but no, Corinne's a very solid choice for that one. Um, Men's most improved. You guys got anything? I have two for this one, and it could go either way. Jed,
I
what do you got?
um when I thought of this, I much more I guess more awareness of the men, and I look at this person as someone that I didn't think would be like in the past wasn't someone that would be challenging me for positions in a contest, and now he is. So I put Zach Mullins.
Oh, Jed. At least you acknowledge that I got a little closer in the gap because when you did the recap for Feet Meet, you acted like I wasn't even on Alex's
Thought.
property.
You
I'm
know,
messing around. No, I'm messing around with you. I'm messing around a little bit. But
but
yeah,
like
I want
the joke is your perennial third place lifter or whatever. But
yeah, I mean
like
if you want to get a bronze medal, you got to get through me.
yeah, well, you got to look at the numbers that when you look at the who's in third place because you don't know what the scores are just by where they're standing
Yeah.
on the podium. And you're
Yeah.
obviously very good if you're always on the podium. So, I mean, that's I just can't think of anybody else that seems to have had such an impact and a dynamic change in their location in the standings. I honestly have no idea what you've done in like arm lifting contests because I don't even look, but I am more aware of the grip contests. So
Well, Jed, just so you're aware real quick, I if we're just counting arm lifting specifically, I'm a four-time world championship medalist in my short tenure.
so lots of third places then. More third places.
uh yeah, I have a lot of bronze. But but no, Jed, I appreciate that, and I do kind of see where you could come up with that. In my head, yeah, clearly I'm not putting myself in any of these categories at all. I think focusing on some competition stuff has improved for me. I think one of the biggest things I do though that a lot won't is a lot of times these people will try to make sure everything's perfect and they have the perfect training and the perfect events and the perfect buildup, and they almost want like a Hollywood movie to unfold if they're going to show up and compete against the best. And like you mentioned earlier, I'll drive 12 hours in the car with you and just, hey, I'm lifting against Eric and Jedd, and maybe some other big lifters show up, or now I'm lifting against you and Sal at whatever. Okay, I'm at the Arnold. I'm lifting against Yvonne and Cliff. I'm lifting against Dingy and Cliff. So I get a lot of third places, but I don't lift against anybody that's not winning the biggest competitions ever either. So like,
Yep.
I think sometimes people maybe underestimate me in a competition because I'm not Jedd Johnson, Jason Dingy, or Devin Lee Brown or Eric Rusain, but I'm in the discussion. But yeah, I'm getting beat, but it's not like some random no name is just like blowing me out of the water and I'm falling off or something. Like I'm trying to catch up to you guys, but everybody's just so damn strong. So no, I appreciate that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I didn't think you'd pick that one. Zach, do you have one for this?
Uh, y- yeah, like I said, this probably isn't my strongest forte. Um, I think that's a good choice, Jed. I mean, yeah, I mean you keep showing up and you're not getting worse. You're always improving. Um, I mean, I think that 210's right around the corner, right? That thing beat your ass for a while, and then
Talking about that, he's talking about a dumbbell that I
yeah,
got. But yeah, no, I lifted that Hall 209 like one time months ago and whatever. I recently kind of posted that. I did break that 210 bell off the ground and had
yeah,
some of the loudest finger pops ever.
yeah.
But not a bad pop. But
Um,
but
yeah.
yeah, no,
I,
I
I
might
would
get to
hate to
that. But
I'd hate to put a name out there. It wouldn't do us justice. So I think y'all are more qualified.
okay, well, hey, no, I appreciate it. And I put down, and this one might one of these is probably gonna be a little weird for people. But I said Devin Lee Brown, and now I said Devin Lee Brown because before he would show up to an Arnold, and then I said this is somebody I'm lifting against, or at least I was at the time when I would cut a little more weight. But I would show up and like lift against Devin Lee Brown, and it's like, okay, we know his thick bar is good, we know his V bar is good, but his pinch is kind of weak. That was kind of like par for the course. Um, he'd do Saxon bar, didn't matter which width, 2 inch, 3 inch, he'd have like a real wide grip. It just didn't look like it was optimal or that he really cared. I'm not saying he didn't care, but it just didn't look like he was really dialed in and like trying to change anything. He was just content lifting 220 on the Saxon, whatever. Um, Fast forward to this Arnold and some of the stuff we've seen this year. He lifted like 430 on the axle, which is about a 30-pound increase from anything he did in the past. So if you look at like the last 2 to 3 years before that, he never really lifted more than 400 on the axle, and he never really broke 220 on a Saxon bar. This year, he like went down to the wire with Eric on Saxon bar, and Eric set the record,
Mm.
passing John Felber and Tanner Merkel's 242 Saxon lift. And I'm talking arm lifting and that. That was at the Arnold. But John Felber and Tanner Merkel in 90 kg had 242 was like the biggest lift in that weight class. I think Devin Lee and Eric both beat it, but Eric did like 253. So he got the win in that. But then Devin Lee ran the axle up to like 430. So for him to turn around and beat Eric head to head like that and improve the pinch, and you could just see the technique changing, despite being in the sport a very long time, that was the first time I said, man, like Devin Lee Brown is not just like, oh, he just shows up and he's good as is. There's effort, there's like intent behind what's going on, and he's up to, and he traveled to nationals this year, um, and won the weight class there. So I liked having him, travel a little bit, do different formats, but everything he did, he lifted really well in. Even well, him and Luke went down to the wire on Little Bighorn at nationals. They did it again in King Kong, damn near broke the record, both guys, and Devin Lee was right there with Luke and Jason Dingy on the Country Crush. So I mean, that's just a solid performance from him. Where maybe in a year or two prior we might not have seen those same results. So that was one, and then Derek Hudson is one that kind of got mentioned last year. But Derek Hudson is somebody that I'm like, man, I know Derek's strong. I know Derek's good, you know, but there are some things he did this year, like his rolling handle lifts that he did. I mean, he's like right up there with Eric or almost beating Eric on certain things. And I'm like, God, like Derek Hudson's for real, So I was really impressed with some of the events I think threw him off at nationals, but like seeing Derek lift with Tanner and Carl at the Shaw Classic for the
Mhm.
invite, um, Derek at the Olympia with a lot of those giants. Uh, I don't know. Derek Hudson's just been improving and like doesn't seem to be stopping either. So that was someone I picked. So kind of between Devin Lee Brown or Derek Hudson is who I would say probably.
Good
So,
choices.
yeah.
Devin sounds like he put in a ton of work and ironed out some stuff. That's great.
Yeah, it was the first time I really saw like actual technique changes, and then just I don't
Hardness
know
is
if
huge. It's huge.
and but yeah, it took it from where like oh man like somebody's like this far from Devin Lee, and then he just took it and it's kind of like no now I'm up here. It was like
Mhm.
a just a extra jump. Um, then I guess we could just hit the last category. This one might be a little easier for everybody, but
If you
uh,
don't mind,
okay,
I'm gonna cover mine first, and then I gotta jump off the call because I got people
okay.
coming.
No, you're good,
Um,
Jed. Yep, that's fine. That's
uh,
fine.
I went with basically the King Kong winners,
Hmm.
Ross Boyle and Sarah Chapelo. It seemed like a really dominant performance for both of them, and I don't know how long Ross has been doing competitions, but there might even be room for him in the Rookie of the Year award if it was his first year. But I'm not really familiar with him.
I think I found like one lift submission or competition, maybe the end of 23 or maybe the end of 24. I forget, but it was enough for me to because I was looking at him and Sal for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
But then I'm like, well, I could probably go Sal Rookie of the Year and then Ross like the overall athlete, So, but I
yeah,
was looking at
yeah.
that, but I think he was maybe just slightly out of the box for Rookie of the Year based off what I saw. But
And
yeah, I'm not fully sure.
I think that Sarah is just like the walking, talking standard for grip uh for the women. I mean, I haven't seen anything that she can't do, and seems to be dominant in every contest that she signs up for. And not many people can challenge her. I realize that some people have, but I think
Hmm.
there's an overseas contest where she was challenged pretty well, but that was also an overseas contest. So you have to wonder if she was in her, optimal form for the day there. But I think we got a lot of years of watching her be dominant still for as long as she wants to do it until someone's willing to step up. And maybe we've mentioned some names of some women that are on their way to do that. Who knows? It's going to be interesting, and I can't wait to watch it. But I gotta run, guys. I appreciate you
No,
having
you're
me
good.
on this episode this year, and I wish everybody the best as far as Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and be seeing lots of people coming up in the year to come with developing contests and things along those lines. So, thank you. I got to run. You guys take care. Okay.
Yep. All right, Jed.
Have a
Thanks.
good one.
Yep.
See ya.
All right, Zach. There we go. We're good.
There he is.
Yep.
So I what Jed said with Ross, I mean, he won his weight class at the Olympia, you know. He pulled the Millennium dumbbell,
Yeah, Hall.
you
Yeah,
know.
well, the Hall version, which is the
The
inch.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta
Before we,
trademarks. We gotta watch our trademarks
yeah, I say
infringement.
before anybody flips out, like, actually, the Millennium has a 5 inch handle and the inch
Yep.
has a four. Blah. Because I have too many. You know me. I only have like 15-inch dumbbells in every video that I post, but I still get random people online who've never seen one in person, and they still want to correct me that that weighs 190. It's not an actual inch dumbbell. I'm like, well, no shit. What else do you want me to call it?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, but 190 pound inch
Yep.
style dumbbell. No, I mean, it gets too wordy. So
It
yes,
is.
I understand the differences between the Millennium dumbbell, the Hall replica at the same weight as a Millennium. Yes, we
Yep.
know all that. We are aware. Um,
And
but
then
don't
I know
freak
he's
out.
knocking on the door with the blob. What the Hall? What 35?
Probably. I know he lifted the 30 or whatever. Yeah, and he's lifted up to like I don't know for the legacies what the biggest he's lifted is
Yeah.
like, but
So
I think it's like right up there. Yeah, I mean, like some of the biggest ones possible. So
he's doing feats. He's winning contests. I mean, I think that's who I had, in the back of my head with for the men's
yeah, it's going to
overall.
sound kind of repetitive here, but
I
I had
know.
Sarah Chapello and Ross Boyle for the year. For me, with Sarah, it's hard when somebody, and I know North Americans was in 24, but it's
Yeah.
coming back in 26. Um, every 2 years that competition's held.
Yep.
So that one was in Canada in 24. It's going
Yep.
to be in Minnesota coming up in 26.
Yep.
So that's something to keep an eye on. Real big competition in the works.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Peterson's going to be hosting that as well. We mentioned him earlier. So Sarah has, the North American title. She won nationals. She
Yep.
won the Olympia. I believe she won her weight class in the Arnold. She literally won. She went to and won every single competition that you could pretty much do this year and did it again. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to put anyone above her, even though there's been some amazing performances by the women's lifters.
Yep.
The activity level, the history, everything just combined, I just can't pick
Hard
anybody
to
over
argue.
Sarah yet,
Yeah.
for that category.
Yeah.
For Ross, I mean, he traveled to the Olympia.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
traveling too.
he, I,
Sweden. He went to Sweden.
he went to Sweden. I think he was just like the runner up to Kim Johansson or
Yeah.
something. So like I mean, he's seeking out the biggest and best things. He's putting some travel in. The
Yep.
feats, like you mentioned, lifting the 104 kg haul bell, and lifting it level. For any of those UK guys that are listening in that like to get into that tilt and level discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys can't mess with me anyway, because if you've seen me lift dumbbells, you don't see any tilt. So
Yeah.
I'm not the enemy. But yeah. So no, man, Ross has really just
Killing
showed
it.
some well-roundedness and showed major potential.
Hmm.
There's some lifts he's done this year. I didn't think that, I just didn't think we'd see him at all. And Ross kind of, pulled off a couple of them. And I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
aside from competition, he's just one of the best. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's how it is. So, so yeah, shout out to Ross and Sarah
Yeah.
on just overall really solid years. It's hard to put together a better year than they had.
Yep.
So yeah, Zach, anything else to kind of add with the categories or just some of that? And like I said, anyone listening in, this is just for fun. It's not like an official award that I'm sending to anybody. This is more just, hey, what did the two Zachs think?
Yeah.
And if you guys have anything to add, drop it in the comments. If you think that there was a most improved lifter that we don't know about, there's a competition we overlooked, there's a rookie of the year that we skipped over, put
Yeah.
your rookie of the year, best performance, and most improved lifter. Put all those in the comments and let us know what you guys think. That's
Yeah.
always good
So
to hear.
one guy, and I know we're going backwards. We got a local guy in the southeast, Donnie Vierstra. He's
Yeah, you've mentioned him. Yeah,
rookie status, first year. I mean, I think he's closing like 20 millimeter block set 170s,
that's strong.
and
Yeah.
he's lifted the inch. You know what I mean? He's already lifted the inch. The 172. Sorry. You gotta specify and
Well,
I mean,
usually I would equate the inch dumbbell to that.
yeah,
That's the only
that's
one,
the
and then
one.
yeah, I'll
So
specify the weight outside of that. But
yeah, so I mean, for me, local, I didn't mention him before because I don't know if national level is, but speaking Southeast, the dude's on fire, for training, and yeah, it should be interesting watching his sophomore year, see what he does.
no, man, like I said, that's good too because some people in California, if they're listening, they don't know that. If somebody across,
Yeah,
but when these names, and this is something I will bring up when we talk about this stuff,
yep,
some of these names you're going to hear, and then in 25, their name's going to pop up more. And then you're going to like, oh, and then if you go back, you'll realize that like, hey, in 2024, we were already talking about so and so. Now
yep,
this year, it's like, oh, they're a whole different monster or something. So that is something that happens where, with these most improved or these rookie of the year type things,
yep,
the names might sound foreign at first, but if you just give it a little bit of time, there's been plenty of times names have popped up on this show and
yep,
nobody knew who they were. And then within 6 to 8 months, you know who they are.
Yep.
That happened with Sal. It's
Yep.
happened with, we mentioned Sal earlier. Like Ebony Perez kind of, bursting on the scene. Mustache Ninja is another
Yep.
one that,
Great
competed with
name.
Jett.
I love
Yeah.
Mustache.
So,
I'm a little
uh,
biased, but yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
man, this is good, dude. Doing this recap, this is good. Building excitement, getting people out there. I always enjoy watching. This is good stuff, dude.
Zach, are there any lifts that you saw in competition, whether it be the Arnold or whatever? I know we touched on a little bit of that. Best competition lifts of the year, best feats of the year, stuff that you maybe saw that you didn't think you'd see, lifts you saw online that maybe, kind of stand out. It could be anything. I know I'm throwing you on the spot here. I,
Oh
I
yeah.
could maybe come up with a few, but yeah, I mean,
Uh,
there's just different things throughout the year that,
yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, just for fun. I mean, like feats of the year. I mean, you're here. You're pretty active. You're pretty active, or you were at least online. I mean, the oil change inch dumbbell lift. That's pretty cool. And it's recent. That's the other thing. You did it. Recently. That
yeah.
was pretty cool. See feats of the year.
Well, we
Um,
mentioned Ross doing the 104.
yeah, the
I think
104.
him convincingly like lifting that dumbbell
No
and
ifs, ands, or buts.
yes, and there's no like questioning it, and there's not like 100 people in a message board somewhere like, we have to fly him to Dubai so we can verify it. I know I don't need to verify
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that we don't have to verify Ross's lift, but then we have to go jump through all these hoops to prove that someone else lifted? Like, and that's just me getting a little like personal, but I've never
Yeah.
understood that. Like, I didn't have to fly to Dubai to show people that I
Yeah.
could lift the goddamn dumbbell. Like,
Yeah.
why is that the method of like, oh, we got to validate it because that's the only place it's close?
Yeah.
Like, no, like just do what everybody else did and you get the same credit. I'm not trying to go down a potential fake lift rabbit
Yeah.
hole with the Tiziano type shit, but
Yeah.
that's where my head goes when it comes down to a lift like that, where I just like it and it's so reassuring when I watch somebody that competes, that lifts and takes it serious, and they do a lift, and I don't even think about it. I didn't look at that lift for 1 second and say, "Ooh, maybe Ross is pulling a fast one."
Yeah.
No, it's like you're just legit and you just know it. So like I just
Yeah.
people make this stuff way too difficult sometimes,
Yep.
and it's like you don't have to do this crazy internet thing sometimes, whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Ross definitely did a great lift on that. I think what else did he do? I don't know. At some point, he might have done like an inch farmer's walk that was pretty ridiculous, or maybe that was a little bit beyond the year. But
Yeah.
but yeah, but no, those are just some feats. One other thing I'd like to point out,
Yeah.
hasn't competed yet,
Yeah.
but the Moose Dog Fox, Ricky
Oh
Fox,
yeah.
Ricky
We didn't
Fox,
get him out. He's got to come out from
dude. Well, he's
Michigan.
in Michigan. He's in
I know.
Michigan, so he's about 3-4 hours from me.
I know.
He's one to come lift my 104 kg haul bell.
Uh,
I think he's got a shot at it based on what I'm seeing online. So I have to bring up Ricky for the feats. Now he has not
yeah.
competed yet,
Yeah.
but from the bell lifts he's done,
Yep. He's got
man,
it.
if you people haven't got hands on some of those dumbbells, when you see him level lifting that 95 haul bell, you guys, you don't know. I mean, me and Jason Dingy were just cussing last night about that damn bell.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hate
he
it.
needs-
I hate that bell. But yeah, no,
he needs to come
Ricky's
out.
killing it, man.
He's killing it, dude. He needs. I know he's messing with those wrist plate curls and stuff. Yeah, he needs to come out and play.
I'm gonna get Ricky at least down here to try this dumbbell, get some training in, and
Lure him in.
just push each other a little bit. And I would like
Yeah.
to get him doing some competitions if possible.
Oh yeah.
For sure. So
Yeah.
that's somebody that impressed me this year, especially on the feet side of things.
Yep.
Because it's rare that you get somebody that doesn't compete,
Yeah.
but impresses you enough to where you're like, oh, like,
Mm-hmm.
man. So you had to bring up Ricky on that. Oh man, what else am I thinking of? I didn't get a chance to mention this earlier. I did mention it in some recaps, but Tammy McClure cut weight this year and
Yeah.
competed at a lighter weight than normal, but also had some goals as far as like a double body weight axle that she pulled
Yeah.
off. So I think that's something to kind of point out as well. I mean, it's a pretty good benchmark in general, but I don't know that we've ever really And I'd have to look it up, but I'm not sure how many women we've seen pull double body weight axles.
Yeah.
I'm a little more familiar with some of the men's lifters because some of the
Yep.
weights are similar to what I'm lifting, and that's what I'm gauging it
Yep.
off of. Um, so I might have to talk to some of the women's competitors to kind of get an idea, but I would assume most of the women competitors have not pulled a double body weight axle. Tammy, actually cut weight, maintained the strength, and pulled that off in competition, not just in the gym. To me, that's really impressive and takes dedication because there's more than just being, oh, you got big hands or oh, this implement was gritty. Like, no,
Yeah.
she had to cut the weight, go to a different place, make sure that she's still making the weight while traveling, getting up on
Yep.
the stage, taking your turn, warming up. How do you feel? How'd you sleep? And Tammy pulled it off. So you have to give credit there.
Yep.
Doing it in competition when it matters, and if she had not made the lift, we wouldn't see 2 to 3 posts about Tammy. Oh, the weight cut broke me down. I couldn't make. There's no excuses either, right? So I really do give Tammy a lot of credit for that. Being able to control the body weight, maintain it, and then go in knowing that hey, maybe I lose a position, maybe someone
Yeah.
else kind of jumps me in the overall
Yep.
because I'm taking some maybe a percentage or two off my lifts possibly. Or
Yep.
if done right, maybe she cuts the weight and adds to her lifts, So you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes with everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of times in competition, I think people assume, well, I'm the only one that's walking in here with a shit ton of injuries. Everybody else had the best rest of their life and they feel amazing. Most people aren't going to be 100% at the competition, or,
Yep.
we've all had prior athletic,
Endeavors. Yeah.
yeah. So, not everybody's showing up like just pulled them out of the box and they're
Yeah.
perfect.
Michael Jordan, when he's up there, he wasn't complaining about XYZ. As far as I know, you know what I mean? Like the
Oh, yeah,
superstars,
absolutely.
you're complaining, they're not like, oh gosh, I only got 5 hours sleep. They show up, they compete, and
Doesn't matter.
so,
Yeah.
well,
I
hey
definitely agree with
Zach,
that.
I thought that was a good review, man. I gotta get going,
No, yeah,
but
that's good, dude. Yeah, I think that we covered most of it.
yeah,
Maybe I skimped out on the best comp lifts of the year and best feats of the
yeah,
year. I kind of got to a short list there, and not saying we're too short on time,
yeah,
but yeah, man, that's perfectly fine. I think we covered what we needed to cover,
yep,
and no, I thank you and Jed for really taking the time and
yep.
doing this. And yeah, is there anything going into the new year you'd like to, I don't know, let people know about, or just a closing statement for the show this time?
Yeah, I think, but closing statement is I'm excited to see the sport grow. It's a team effort, what you're doing, what Jed's doing, what Ricardo's doing, everybody. I mean, those are just the bigger names, but all the promoters, like I applaud you guys. It's, y'all are getting out there, putting the work in, and I'm excited to see the sport grow and on all aspects, the competition side, feet side, with more implements becoming available. And yeah, no, I'm excited. So let's yeah, so yeah, that's about it. I'm excited to see the growth continue.
Okay, and then just from the standpoint, we kind of covered all the competition all the year. Last thing I'm going to mention, where Zach's talking about kind of growing the sport.
Yeah.
Um, in the past, we haven't had a lot of people really covering the sport this much either.
Yep.
So I just want to do a real quick last second thing.
Yep.
Obviously, this is the Grip Show. So if you
Yep.
guys want the recaps, whatever interviews, the channel does a bunch, right?
Yep.
So you can check out some of the old stuff. I got new ideas and new things coming for the new year, especially. But you have the Grip Show. You're already listening to it. If you get a chance, look into Poncho running Grip Sport Latino. There's some
Yep.
interviews there. Some of them are the same people, but they're covering different stuff than they did on my show. Or it's people I've never talked to in my life, but Poncho covered them. So go check out his show. Gift to Grab is the same. I was on there for an episode, but they've interviewed a lot of other people. So
Yep.
Gift to Grab is another source that's covering, the sport. Also, Tom Limuth and Chris are over there in the UK. They're doing the Grip Guys. They've been coming out with episodes every Friday. So as far as, there's obviously the competition within your region, the face to face, the personal stuff. There's the
Yep.
people online. There's, the competition and people who are there. And then there's some people that are actually covering this and talking about it and bringing people on. All of these are forms of us spreading the word and building the sport.
Yep.
So I'm just giving a shout out to all those who are kind of, all of us that have shows that are covering these events. Don't just
Yep.
watch this, go watch all the other people too, watch everything in the sport. And
Yep.
you're just going to absorb more information. You're going to get different perspectives, different styles, and you're going to get a good idea of just this sport,
What's going on?
its growth, what's going on, and not just in the US, but across the world often. So
Yep.
yeah, give those people a follow and check it out. And we'll see you guys in 2026.
Yep.
Thanks,
Sounds
Zach.
good, brother.